If you are searching for the photo retouching tutorial, then your search ends here, because in this tutorial we are going to learn about the complete process of retouching a photo in a Photoshop, so that by the end of this video you will be completely known to the process of retouching a photo. So without wasting time, let's get started. So we are going to work on this image. So I have downloaded this image from the Signature Edit site. I'll place the link for this image so you can download the same image for your practice as well in the description box. So make sure you check that out and download it if you want to edit and practice the same. So I have done this minimal editing, or you can say a vast difference making editing, that this was the before image and this is the after image. So once you are done with this editing, just open the image and this is the image that we are going to work on. So first thing that we'll do is we'll remove the blemishes from the skin. As we can see that there are not much of the blemishes, but yet there are some blemishes that we want to remove from the image. So I'll create the new layer over the background layer, because we don't want to affect the background layer. And then select the healing tool, which is regular brush healing tool. So select that. You can also select this spot healing brush tool if you have less time, but using this is better because it will give you more control over the image and your editing. So I choose this. And one more thing, that if you don't see the blemishes clearly, just do this trick. So go here in the adjustment layer and create the black and white adjustment layer, and then decreases the reds. So as you can see now, you can see the blemishes clearly. Now we don't have to remove all the blemishes because it are the signs that are present on the model's face, that are the identity of that model. So just remove the slight blemishes, don't remove all. So once you select this, make sure you select the layer again. I'll rename this layer as blemishes. And once you select this layer, make sure here you select color and below, and then start sampling and removing the blemishes. Pro tip: keep on taking multiple samples so that you don't repeat the same area on multiple areas. So if you want to reduce the size of the brush, just press Alt and right click, and then move left to reduce the size, right to increase the size, and then just take sample. Okay. So I have removed the blemishes. Now you can see, once we turn off this layer, and then again if I turn off this layer, that is blemishes layer, you can see the changes. So we have removed the blemishes. So now we don't need this layer, so I'm gonna delete this layer. And now the next thing that we have to do is we have to create a merge layer to process the image further. So for that, press Ctrl Alt Shift E. If you are on Mac, then press Command Option Shift E. So this will create the new layer, merge layer of these both image layers that we created earlier. So just make the duplicate of this layer one more time. So for that, press Ctrl J or Command J if you are on Mac, and then rename this layer as texture and this one as color. So what we are going to do is we are going to separate the texture of the skin from the color of the screen, so that when we retouch the image, we don't just smoothen out the whole image and we'll lose the texture on the skin as well. But we want to retouch the image without losing the texture. So for that we are going to separate the texture of the skin from the color. So here it is the rough process that we are going to do. Now I am not going to do this complete process for this because I have already made one video about this topic. So make sure you check that out. The link will be available up somewhere here in the video, also available in the description box. So go there and check out that. If you have already watched that video, then you can continue with me. So I have this image. Here I have already done that process. So you can see here I have retouched the skin and sculpted the skin again. So if I turn off this layer or this group, you can see the changes. So see, we have removed the eye bags from this area. See, so these are the changes that we are going to make. See this nodes area, see. So once you're done with this, the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to do dodging and burning. So now what's the reason behind the dodging and burning? So that we are doing that process because we want to bring the highlighted area more forward of the image and dark areas move backward, so that we can add more depth to the image. So for that we are going to create here in the adjustment layer, create the curves and then just lift this. This looks good to me, and then just collapse this and then convert or invert this mask. So for that press Ctrl I, this will invert the mask, and then select the brush. For that press B. Now once you select the brush, make sure your flow is 1% or 2%. I prefer 1%, and then just start painting all the areas that you want moving ahead, that is lifted ahead. So these are the highlighted areas that I want to bring forward, so I'm going to paint on these areas. So just see this. So you can see that we are brightening up these areas because these are the areas that are going to be highlighted. Just keep on painting on these areas that you want to bring forward. So now you can see the changes if I toggle this layer. So this is before and this is after we added the dodging to this face. So you can see the difference because we have bring forward the light areas of the face so that we add more depth to the image. Now the next thing, again we are going to add curves, but this time we are going to pull this point downside, more down. I think this looks good for me. Again collapse, invert this mask also. So for that Ctrl I, then take brush. Now make sure your color are default color, that is white and black. If they are not, press D, and to interchange the color press X so that you can interchange between the colors. So this is the black mask, so we want to reveal the darkness that we just added with these curves on the particular areas that we want. So for that, to reveal the darkness, we should choose the white color. So switch to white color. For that press X and then just paint on these areas. like maybe you want to highlight the cheekbone, so just keep on painting on this area which I show you. So now you can see once we have added this burning to these cheekbones, so if I turn off this, you can see the difference. This is after, this is before. So now if you want to check that whether we have painted on right areas or we have just painted over the white areas also, so for that I have one trick. Just click here on the right side, twice click. This will open this dialog box, layer style dialog box, and then just slightly move this slider to this side. So now you can see on the screen here. So these are the areas that I want to keep the burning here. Now just this is too harsh, so for that just split this slider. For that press Alt and left click on this slider and then just pull this side so it will make softer, and then press OK. So you can see this. Now once we have added this if condition that it will only paint on the darker areas than the selected areas, so now let's try painting on these white areas. So I'm painting on this area, but it's not affecting because we have added the condition of if. So this is it. So just make a group of these layers, these two layers. I'll rename this as burning and this as dodging. It completely depends on you whether you want to rename these layers. It's easy to identify the work that we have done on the image, so that's the significance of renaming these layers. So just make this group of these two layers. So for that press Ctrl and select these two layers, and to make the group press Ctrl G and rename this as dodging and burning. So now just let me toggle this and turn this off so that you can see the difference. So this is the before and this is the after. You can see a lot of difference has happened just with the dodging and burning. We have created more depth to the portrait, and the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to correct the shape of the face of the model. So for that again create the merge layer of all this adjustment that we have done to this image. So for that again press Ctrl Alt Shift E or Command Opt Shift E, and then just right click on this and convert to smart object, or you can also go here you can select here in the filter, you can convert this to smart filters. So as we have already created this, so it is showing gray. So once we have done and converted this layer into a smart filter or convertible filter, so once you have converted this layer into the smart layer or smart object, then go here filter and then click on Liquify. Now this is the most interesting part of this process, so that we are going to make the shape of the face more proper and more subtle. So just select this make sure you decrease the pressure somewhere around 30 or 25. Go closer because we just don't want to mess up with the other things. So here I am with the face, and then make the brush little bigger and then slightly push this area. Now you can see we are actually changing the shape of the face and we are making the jawline more proper. Also you can see that here this is looking more bulgy, so just push this inward. Now it completely depends on your preferences, how you like the face to be. I like this much, and once you are done with this, just go down here and click on reconstruct. Now this is the completely beautiful part of this Liquify, so that you can get complete control over this Liquify. Just decrease the amount as per your taste and see where you find it beautiful. So I like it somewhere around 90. Just press OK and again OK. Now as this is the smart object, you can go here and double click on this Liquify anytime, and you can change it as per your preferences if you change your mind. So this is it. So now if I turn off this layer, you can see again the changes, that this is before, this is after. So once you are done with this, we are completely done with the shape of the face. Now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to retouch the eyes and add more shine to the eyes. So for that, again create a merge layer. For that, Ctrl Alt Shift E or Command Alt Shift E by the time you have known this, and then again create the curves layer and then just pull this upside, go closer to the eyes and just pull this, and then I think this is good for me, and then invert this mask again. So press Ctrl I and make sure you select the brush, go closer. But before doing that, I'll explain you how we are going to do and what we are going to do. So for this, just for the understanding purpose, see, this is the eye, this is the eye. Now see, if the light is coming from this direction, it will enter this region and then it will come outside from this area. But sometimes camera is unable to capture that, so we are going to do that in the post-production. So I hope you understand what we are going to do with the eye. So I'm deleting this layer and then just go here. Now in this case, the light is coming from this direction, so we are going to highlight this area more. So for that, just go closer to the eye. It doesn't matter even this image get pixelated, just go closer. Make sure your brush is smaller, flow is 1% or 2% according to your preference, and then just paint along this axis point. So just, I think I'll make it 2 or even higher because we don't want to waste much of our time. So 10. If it's still looking little adjustment, just increase it and then just paint on these areas, just like I'm doing this. Now increase the flow slightly by 25, and then again paint on the areas, more on this side, because as we learned earlier, that light is going to get emitted more from this side. So you can see if I turn off this layer, see the difference. This is after. Now we just don't want the excess amount, so make sure you select the brush again, and this time invert the color, that is we want the black because we don't want the some areas that we have painted. So to delete that, just switch the color to black. So for that, press X to switch the color and then just paint over this area. So now you can see, and you can change the color of eye anytime. In this case, this is the blue eye, so go to the reds, and what's opposite of red? Blue, right? So just pull it downside so that you can add more blue to the eyes. Now just create the duplicate of these curves again. So for that, again press Ctrl J, and now just select the mask again, brush B, and then just decrease the flow to somewhere around 10, and then just paint over these areas which you don't want. And you can always come here if you think that this is little bit overdone or over edited, just decrease the opacity. That's it. Decrease the opacity to 50% or maybe 60%, and this looks fine to me. So now just if you don't want to work on this eye again, you can just do this cheating way. But before doing that, just make the group of these two layers. So again select these two layers by pressing Ctrl and clicking on the other layer, and then create the group. For that, Ctrl G and name this as I, and then duplicate this I group. So for that, Ctrl J, and then select this and move to this area. So just this way. In case if you are wondering what key I pressed to do this, so I pressed Ctrl T and then move this to this area and then click here. So now you can see how much changes we have done here. So if I turn off these two layers, so these are the eyes before and these are the eyes after we added shine to the eyes. So that's it from the video, guys. Hope you have learned something from the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you subscribe my channel, and let me know your views and any suggestion of the future videos in the comment section so that I can make the video on that topic too. And that's it. Thank you. Bye bye.